Well, I can respond to you and say that that is my understanding of the settlement agreement. And I think that for the public, I'd like to maybe take a couple minutes just to explain the history of this and how we got to where we are. And I'm not going to go into the whole history because that would take a long time. But just in terms of this settlement agreement, the city essentially entered into a lawsuit as a result of concerns that the Sonics were about to terminate their lease or break their lease, which would be a violation of the terms of the agreement. And the lawsuit was essentially an attempt to get them to live up to the terms of their lease. The only thing that the city had the authority to do, we had no authority to compel them to remain after 2010, but the lease did provide that they had to remain in Key Arena for 2 years. So the city going into this lawsuit essentially was attempting to make sure that we did not wind up holding the bag if they broke the terms of their lease without providing compensation to the city, and in the hope that somehow there might be something else that would emerge that might wind up leaving a team here for a longer period of time. As time went on, it became clear that that was not going to be something that was likely to happen, and it seemed very dubious that that would be the kind of relief that would ultimately be granted, since there was nothing in the lease agreement that it would require any team to stay here after 2010. So as a result of that, the city attorney did enter into negotiations to attempt to come to a settlement of this agreement. And it's very important to note that that is a city attorney responsibility. The attorney acts with the guidance and assistance of the council and mayor, but the city attorney is the one who essentially has the authority to make a decision on whether to settle or to pursue a lawsuit based on his best judgment, again, with the advice of the clients, the council and mayor, as to what is likely to happen in terms of the city. So that is essentially the pattern that has brought us to this point. And we, none of us like this particular settlement. We don't think it's, at least I guess I should speak for myself, but I'd say for myself, this is not in any way the optimum solution that anybody was hoping for, in my understanding. The optimum solution that everybody was hoping for would be that the team would have found a way to remain here, and we would have been able to find a way in which to continue things. But that did not seem to be an option. And so the result of that was that we wound up with a situation where we had a negotiated agreement that we believe treats the city as best we possibly can in terms of our financial outcomes that might happen, and does give us the hope and the promise that at least there would be some consideration of a team in the future. I, again, want to say what I had to say at the news conference, which is that we should not have too many illusions about that. This is a hope and a promise. It is by no means a guarantee. And whether we can actually realize that is going to depend on a lot of very hard work over the next several years. So from my perspective, the real background to this and the real issue is that the NBA, the sports magnates, the people who own these teams, essentially are treating the fans as something that's fungible, that can be simply thrown away and replaced with some new fans when they feel like doing something like this and moving to another city. And they have made that decision. And the city of Seattle has done its best to try and figure out a way in which to mitigate or prevent that outcome. But we do not ultimately have the authority or control over that outcome. It is a private business, and a private business that makes decisions based on their own business considerations. So the fans are the people who are being tossed about and who are being essentially left in the lurch by the NBA and the companies associated with them. And we are fortunate that we've finally found a way in which we can at least get that relationship a little bit better so that we have the prospect of possibly doing something in the future. But we should be really clear that this is not an outcome, at least from my perspective, that we would have wished for. Okay, please call the roll on the passage of the bill.
Licata.
Aye.
McIver.
Aye.
Rasmussen.
Aye.
Burgess.
Aye.
Drago.
Aye.
Godin.
Aye.
Harrell.
I need a moment. Aye.
President Conlin.
Aye.
8 in favor, none opposed.
The bill passes and the chair will sign it.
It would have been nice to have it in time to read it.
I think he's got a real clear understanding of all the issues and a real good grasp of all the issues.